$1.5 million in chicken wings and was sentenced to 9 years in prison. While some people think that this punishment is completely justified, others think that it's a bit too much. I think people feel bad because they look at this photo and realize that she is older and think that maybe she needs this food to eat. But who's really gonna eat $1.5 million in wings?
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, let me talk about it, man. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank you guys, man, who's coming back to the channel, man, watching the videos entirely, commented down below, man, and most importantly, man, hitting that thumbs up button on each and every single video I drop. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best. Stay with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
The most disturbing cults in history, part 5.
Talk about it.
Australia's most notorious cult ran in secrecy by a yoga teacher who believed she was the reincarnation of Jesus, fed LSD to children, and wanted to create the master race. Buckle up, because this one is quite the story. Born in 1921, Anne Hamilton Byrne grew up outside of Melbourne, Australia. When she was young, her mother died in a mental hospital, and her father wasn't too keen on being a single parent, so she bounced around to different orphanages. Later in life, she had a child and lost her husband in a tragic car accident. That is when she took up yoga and began teaching it in the city. In the 60s is when mysticism and Eastern religion began to make their way west, and a lot of people were very interested in it. During one of her yoga lessons, she met physicist Dr. Raynor Johnson. He referred to Anne as the wisest, serenest, most gentle, gracious soul he had ever met. Together, they began using LSD and started to recruit members into the cult, which was known as the Family. They used Johnson's property right outside of the city of Melbourne as their headquarters, where they held weekly meetings. They spread a mishmash of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Christianity. Another large outlet for new recruits was the New Haven Hospital, which was mostly ran by members of the family. Many of the patients at the New Haven Hospital they treated with LSD. She easily became a multi-millionaire funded by the cult members. She got everything she wanted from the cult members: homes, cars, money, and eventually even children. When the 1970s rolled around, 28 children became members of the family. Some were offsprings of members, others were falsely adopted, and some even stolen. With such powerful people working for the family, such as doctors and attorneys, anything was possible for them to acquire. All of the children were told that Anne was their biological mother. Their identities were completely changed, and they were given fake birth certificates. She dyed all of their hair blonde, changed all of their last names to Hamilton Byrne, all to convince them that they were related. She kept the charade going by wearing homemade smocks to fake her pregnancies, and told the members of the family that they would survive the end of the world and become the new master race. Anne, along with her husband Bill, were the unquestioned leaders of the cult. Beatings were commonplace to children who stepped out of line, and they were given daily doses of Valium to keep them docile. This continued on until they reached the age of 14. That is when a bizarre initiation ritual was done. They were given an insanely large dose of LSD and locked in a room alone. They would only be seldomly visited by Anne or one of the cult psychiatrists. As you can imagine, this had long-lasting impacts on all the children and cult members. When screaming would be heard by neighbors and police were summoned to the property, the children were instructed to hide and cram into this tiny hole. Her only role was do everything she says. The family's motto was unseen, unknown, unheard, and they had little contact to the outside world. It wasn't until 1987 when a 14-year-old girl named Sarah Moore was expelled from the group for not behaving and went right to police. Police raided their headquarters on August 14th, and all the children were placed in protective custody. As for Anne and Bill, they fled the country. For 4.5 years, they hid in upstate New York before finally being extradited back to Australia. Despite a massive investigation, raids on the property, they spent little to no time in jail. In the end, they only had to pay three $5,000 fines for falsifying 3 of the birth certificates. Like, that is it. After destroying so many lives, that is it.
Really?
Unfortunately, on this one, no justice was served, and Anne spent her last years suffering from dementia in a Melbourne nursing home. She died at the age of 98 in 2019.
Perplexing.
That's crazy, Seekers, man. They did all that, and all they had to pay was a $5,000 fine. 3 $5,000 fines. Really? There was no justice in that case, just like you said. Man. That's a head turner.
Part 1. In 2008, an Australian couple named Julian and Carolyn were kidnapped by a satanic cult. Members of the cult threw them in a van and drove them deep into the forest where they were stripped, blindfolded, tied up, and abandoned. Convinced that they would die, Julian suggested that the couple get married under the eyes of God and consummate their relationship. After a week of wandering through the woods, the couple finally made it back to their hometown. Julian was immediately arrested and found guilty of staging the entire thing. These animals thought they were
That's different, man.
In 2015, Goliath, a young cow rescued from a dairy farm, surprised everyone. After being nursed back to health with bottle feeding, he formed an unlikely bond with a sibling, a Great Dane. Shockingly, Goliath began mimicking dog-like behavior. He attempted to nurse with the Great Dane, lounging on the family's couch and even tasting dog food. And in 2016, Hannah Simpson from New Zealand, unable to afford a horse, chose to treat a cow from her family's farm as one. Lilac was trained to act like a horse. Impressively, Lilac could even clear a 5-foot jump, but only when in the mood. And in 2019, Pusha, a cat, became an unexpected mother to 4 orphaned squirrels. With a bit of human help, the squirrels began to warm to Pusha. And this interspecies family melted heart when Pusha started to care for the squirrels as her own. And in 2016, Nano, a woman, firmly believed she was a cat trapped inside a human's body. Her story was shared on a Norwegian YouTube channel, where she showcased her cat-like behaviors and tendencies.
Let me just ask
Human
you,
cat?
can you tell that there is something wrong with the picture that I'm going to show you? This one is really interesting. So the information I could find on the photo is that we think it was taken by a realtor. He had gone alone to basically inspect a home that was foreclosed on that he was about to put on the market.
Okay.
I love this photo is that if you look at it really closely, you're like, the photo is kind of blurred, like it was taken in motion, because in the background there is something very wrong. Quickly before we get into it, thank you so much for all of the support for my podcast, Creep Time the Podcast. You don't even know how to process being top 10 in the country. That is incredible. If you have not listened, go click the link in my bio. Seen in the background of that photo, it was very clear that he was not alone in that basement. Although he claimed he didn't see anything, he just got a strange feeling, so he kind of took the photo and then rushed out of the room. But this person was confirmed to not be the homeowner. So who was hiding out in that basement?
Smart. He felt a different presence, and he left. Trust your gut. Sometimes, man, your gut and knows the right thing, man. If you have a gut feeling, listen to it. It can save your life.
Are your toys alive?
What did I just walk into?
Toy Stories confirmed.
Would you have a robot made?
Nah, I don't trust it.
Unlocked.
Jesus Christ. Gotta be careful here.
He baiting it?
Well, that puts an end to my tarpon fishing. Wow.
He getting closer.
Get back.
He's a menace, man. Hit the jets. Where is
Here's
it?
some websites that are insanely useful and you need to know about. TheTrueSize.com. This website essentially shows you the true size of every country. Right here, it looks like Canada is double the size of the US, right? But That's just not true. Next, we have archive.org.
Okay.
It's essentially a giant archive of free books, movies, everything is mostly on here. 1aauto.com. This one essentially gives you all of the information for your car that you will ever need. All you gotta do is put the year, make, and model of your car. Then it'll give you every spare part compatible with your car. But not only does it give you the correct parts to buy, it also gives you videos on how to replace everything. Next, we have copycat.com. This website will essentially give you all of the food recipes for every item that you love. So like Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets, they got it. Once you're at this page, you're gonna click on search for recipe. We'll type in Chick-fil-A, and it gives you a step-by-step recipe on how to make the nuggets yourself. GG.deals. This website essentially shows you the best deals that you can get on games right now.
Gruesome facts you didn't know, part 241.
Interesting sights.
In 1968, radical feminist Valerie Solanas entered the office of famous artist Andy Warhol carrying 2 guns. When she entered, she proceeded to shoot Andy Warhol along with London art gallery owner Mario Amaya and then left the building. 2 of her bullets tore right through Andy's stomach, liver, spleen, esophagus, and both of his lungs. He survived but was forced to wear a surgical corset for the rest of his life just to hold his organs in place. Hours later, Valerie turned herself into police, was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, and served 3 years in jail. Previous to the shooting, she founded an organization called SCUM, the Society for Cutting Up Men, where she envisioned a world without men. She believed that Warhol was trying to steal one of her play manuscripts when actually he had just misplaced it. For weeks prior to the shooting, she made calls and threats to his office repeatedly asking about the manuscript. The shooting only intensified Andy's fear and loathing of hospitals and doctors. Sadly, on February 21st of 1987, he suffered cardiac arrest following a gallbladder surgery, a procedure he delayed for several years because of his fear of hospitals.
Animals are scary. Oh man! Look what this man found in his basement.
Hotel room and immediately see this. You see that line under the door? What is this?
Ooh. Secret
It is
room?
not service. Smuggling zone? What is this?
Smuggling
This is
something.
a hotel. Let's stick it all the way in. What the fish that?
Do these look familiar to you?
Got Jason mash. What the hell? Never seen a freaking insect like that before. Had a freaking Jason mask on it. Is that legit? Gonna have to check that out. Edit. Call him out, man. If y'all see any edits, man, call him out.
Can you imagine giving your boyfriend one of your organs and then he ends up cheating on you? It's happened a while back, but I thought we'd talk about it because there's a lesson to be learned here. In 2015, Colleen Lay met this man who later became her boyfriend, and after dating for a little bit, he immediately told her about this kidney disease that he was struggling with. Obviously, she really cared about this guy and really wanted to help him, so she went to get tested to see if she was a kidney match with him. She said that seeing him with his condition and how much he was suffering made her want to really help him and see what she could do. Turns out that they were a perfect match, and the operation was scheduled a few months later, and she gave him her kidney. But only 7 months later, her boyfriend went to Vegas with a group of friends for a bachelor party, and he cheated on her. Now, Colleen was obviously heartbroken and she felt betrayed, but she really loved this guy and decided to give him another chance. But then 3 months later, this man broke up with her and completely ghosted her. I always thought the story was fake because how does someone have the audacity? Then he used the God card on her and said that if God wanted them to be together, then they would. And then he got married to another woman. Despite all this, Colleen said that she does not regret her decision and she would do it all over again.
This pastor
She's
is
a
being accused
nice
of
person.
unaliving his own wife. This case is currently ongoing, but it's been so highly suggested, so this is what we know so far. On April 28th, Pastor John Paul Miller made the shocking announcement at the end of his church service that his wife, Micah, had unalived herself. He then asked everyone to leave quietly and not discuss his wife's death. Micah's family and friends do not believe this cause of death and have taken to social media with the hashtag Justice for Micah. John Paul also wrote Micah's obituary, where he talked mostly about himself, not even Micah, who was the one that passed away. He also painted their marriage as like a perfect relationship, which is really odd considering that Micah filed for divorce and a restraining order against her husband only days before her passing. The weeks prior to Micah's passing, she was sharing on Facebook about abusive relationships and really just hinting that something wasn't right. A friend of Micah's has come out and confirmed that Micah told her that there was abuse in the marriage, and also that church funds were being used for things not church related. And since, more friends and family of Micah have come out with similar accounts. Also been some speculation that John Paul was having an affair, a years-long affair with this woman that he's been seeing in the days before and the days after Micah's death. That woman's husband also passed away in a really suspicious way, but that's just online speculation for right now. The investigation is currently ongoing, so hopefully we have answers really soon. But in the meantime, make sure to leave all your thoughts, theories, questions, and case suggestions in the comments for me.
Here's a fact that will make your skin crawl, part 1. Up first, did you know that women can actually give birth after death? It's extremely rare, but it's called coffin birth. Up next, everybody has definitely heard of the 5-second rule and probably applied it in your life at least once.
Never.
But did you know in those 5 seconds, minor insects can still crawl on your food after you drop it on the floor, pick it up, and then eat it? Up next, if a black cat looks at you and then suddenly runs away, it means that something unusual is about to happen to you. So if this happened to you recently, then I recommend just staying in your room and not leaving. Finally, did you know that a cockroach can live 9 days without its head before it starves to death? This is absolutely crazy, and as weird as this sounds, I have to see it to believe it.
You don't do cockroaches around here, man. But I believe it. I believe it, man. Smashed one before, bro, and that thing was still moving. I'm like, what the hell is going on? That's an edit, man. We call them out. If y'all see any edits, man, y'all can call them out down below. So y'all know what to look out for.
This book was so disturbing and intense that I am literally legally not alive on this earth anymore.
They got him. He's dead.
And I mean that quite literally. My obituary is in this book. Aaron Beauregard once again was very kind enough to not only send me a free copy of the Obituaries Red Romance, including another one of his latest novels, Life of Crime, which we're going to get to very soon, but the dude has legally ended my existence in the coolest and weirdest way possible. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I always thought it was going to be my wife. 6th issue of the Obituary series, Red Romance, with all different short stories written by C.B. Hunt, Aaron Beauregard, Christopher Triana, and also Daniel J. Volpe. Yes, my friends, we are back into the realm of splatterpunk because this is not for your average viewing pleasure. Or for some people, it might be. Ew. Aaron, dude, you are so fucking cool for this. So seriously, dude, thank you. And if y'all are absolutely dying to get the latest copy of the Obituaries, you can pick up your very own at obitshorror.com.
The man behind me is
I don't need that energy in my life.
Dracula. His name is Tsutomu Miyazaki. He was born with a deformity that fused his wrists with his hands, so he was bullied a ton growing up. Then one day, later on in adulthood in 1988, something snapped in him. He started abducting little children, specifically little girls, and engaging in necrophilia. He would strangle his victims to death and then engage with their corpse. He would even go as far as removing some of their body parts like their hands and feet and even their teeth. One way that made him also very similar to Jeffrey Dahmer, he would pose these bodies in different ways and photograph them. On one of his last instances before he got caught, he drank the blood of a little girl. And then right after that, he ate her hand. One day he was at the playground trying to take pictures of more little kids, and the father intervened and stopped him. So Mr. Dracula behind me fled on foot, naked, and was caught by the cops later on. That's when they discovered his disturbing collection of photos and body parts inside of his apartment. However, he blamed it on his alter ego named the Rat Man.
No.
They were not playing any games with this guy. They immediately sentenced him to death. The government hung him on June 17th of 2008. Let me know what you guys think about the Rat Man or Dracula in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
We can talk
Yeah,
about what
two
happened
alter
in this room,
egos,
but specifically,
pure evil.
it has to start with this photo. This was the final picture found on the camera roll of Janine Oswald. Janine is the girl who's here on the right, and her friend Tess is on the left. Tess had dared Janine to go into the silo house. Hard to find a picture of this place, but it's basically off campus of Missouri State, and it's a very common thing that people would dare other people to go into this place, which Janine did, but she never came back out. So as the story goes, police eventually came, where they found her body completely mutilated inside the silo house, but specifically they found her phone. Now this was the final picture that was taken on that camera roll, but it's maybe not as sinister or paranormal as you might think. Police actually believe this was a diversion tactic. Think of it like a person or maybe a mannequin that's planted to distract you while somebody else comes out and does something worse. It's never found by the time police search the building, so it's become a haunting relic of the final moment before something horrific happened to her.
Man, Seekers, those truth and dares, bro, they can push it to the limit sometimes, man. If I seen a house like that, you dare me to go in there, I don't care what you say, I ain't going. It ain't worth it, man.
Chris Brown and Live Nation are being sued for $50 million after 4 concertgoers at his 11/11 tour were violently assaulted at one of his shows.
Whoa.
Following Brown's concert on July 19th at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas, 4 men, Larry Parker, Joseph Lewis, Charles Bush, and DeMarcus Powell, were invited into the VIP area of the arena. They grew tired of waiting to meet Chris Brown, so they ended up leaving. While leaving near the exit, Bush congratulated Brown on his set, and that's when one of Brown's crew allegedly yelled about them having argued. The men left the area, and they were allegedly followed by 7 to 10 of Brown's crew. When they tried to leave, they were attacked, and this attack was allegedly unprovoked. Brown and 3 others, quote, brutally and severely beat the 4 men. Brown allegedly told one of his accomplices to F Parker up. Parker was then attacked for over 10 minutes. Both victims needed medical treatment, with Parker being hospitalized for his head injuries. The lawsuit also claims that Live Nation, Brown's concert promoter, continued their relationship with him despite his history of bad and violent conduct. The suit says Live Nation, quote, shamelessly profits and promotes Brown's The 11/11 tour and brought Brown to Texas for financial gain. The plaintiffs are asking the court for compensatory and punitive damages in excess of $50 million, in addition to actual damages that include pain and suffering, disfigurement, mental anguish, and past, present, and future medical expenses. This isn't the first time Chris Brown has faced legal issues like this. In 2009, he pleaded guilty to assaulting his then-girlfriend, Rihanna. He has faced several other physical and SA accusations, most recently in 2023. This lawsuit demands Brown's unprovoked violence to be stopped. One of the co-defendants has denied his involvement, and the Fort Worth police are asking for anyone with any information about the attack that happened at the concert to come forward. This is still kind of lingering in the court system, so we will see where it goes and if Brown ends up settling or going to court. But in the meantime, he has continued on his tour.
If it was at the tour, wouldn't it be like cameras so you can see the angles of stuff if that was true? I don't know if they're hiding that footage or something, but for 50 million smackaroonies, that's a lot of money, man. Whew.
999, what is your emergency?
Yeah, all good, thanks.
Hello?
No, just been out for a few drinks. Everything alright?
You're currently calling 999. Hello? Are you in danger in any way?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I see. I understand. Are you able to speak freely?
No, not right now. Sorry, Mum.
Okay. Where are you right now?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Can you see any street signs? Are you able to give me a location?
I don't know. There's an IKEA down here.
Okay.
Sorry, Mum. What were you saying?
That's a good line, Mark. Is there anything else that you can provide?
I think you left that at the house.
The house?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I understanding it right that they're taking you to their house? Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Alright, Mum, I'm gonna have to let you go now, I think.
That's okay. Okay, we're still working on locating you, so don't worry, we'll be on our way.
Alright, I will. Thank you.
She stole $1.5 million in chicken wings and was sentenced to 9 years in prison. While some people think that this punishment is completely justified, others think that it's a bit too much. I think people feel bad because they look at this photo and realize that she is older and think that maybe she needs this food to eat. But who's really gonna eat $1.5 million in wings? So this is about 68-year-old Vera Liddell, and she worked for the school district, and her job was to place orders for various schools in Illinois. In July 2020, when COVID was at its peak, students began learning remotely, but the schools decided that they wanted to continue providing meals for the students. Vera thought that it would be a good idea to order case after case of chicken wings using the school district's account, and she did this for 2 years without anyone realizing. She ordered a total of 11,000 cases of chicken wings between 2020 and 2022, and rather this food going to students, surveillance footage showed Vera picking up the wings in the school's cargo van, and then she took them home. And the only time the school noticed that this was going on was when they decided to do an audit and realized that they were $300,000 over their annual budget. It's not confirmed what Vera did with all these wings. I'm pretty sure she didn't eat them all, but it's assumed that she probably resold them and made profit. But the internet is pretty divided on this, and some people don't think it's a big deal that she stole $1.5 million in chicken wings, while others think that she should be punished because not only did she steal so much money, but she took resources away from students. But someone who does support this woman's actions and actually offered to pay the $1.5 million to get her out of prison was this man named Chris Jones, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. He recently tweeted that he will pay the entire amount if they let her free. What do you guys think about this?
So about...
What do you guys think on that one, Seekers? That one is like a divided case. She stole wings. There was $1.5 million worth. Some people think, yeah, it's just wings, so it's not really that bad. But like I said, it took resources away from kids. But Chris Jones, man, is offering to pay the amount. So thoughts down below.
1 week ago, 3 little girls were murdered in a dance class by a teenager, and 10 others were injured. Of course, that teenager was arrested, but official sources never identified who this guy is exactly. There were several protests and riotings in the UK across several cities in the country, and there was a mosque that was destroyed and burned down as a form of revenge because of what happened in Southport. About 1 day later, after this incident, the government, the media, and the police have officially identified who the killer is. He's a teenager named Eggshells from Rwanda. That is a Christian. Not a Muslim, a Christian. Are you gonna burn down a church now that you know he's a Christian? Is that the natural response we as people should have? Official sources confirmed who's the person behind this misinformation. And let me tell you, this is how dangerous misinformation can be. It can lead you to do the wrong things. The person behind this misinformation is Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is an anti-Islam activist. Most of the biggest platform he has is on X, Twitter. That was where he tweeted that this guy, the murderer, was a Muslim. And because of his contribution to the misinformation, these riots happened. Innocent people were injured, and a mosque was burned down. I'm not sure if it was one or more than one. To be honest, I don't even know the guy. I just heard of him today. And from an official news site that said Tommy Robinson was the main contributor to the misinformation that led to these riots. People are so gullible in the UK. Really. I mean this with no offense, but you guys are. And it's really bad.
Like you said, misinformation is one of the most dangerous things out there, man. Because if you tweet something, that's why people like when they have a following and stuff, like you have to kind of understand. No, you have to understand that comes with the responsibility, because like there will be people who will believe every word you say, man, to the T. So if you say something like that, they'll believe it, no questions asked. But that's why you gotta be, with great power comes great responsibility, man. So if you build that following, gotta be careful what you say, because you never know what events you could set in motion. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, comment down below, you guys, man. Like I said, it helps us in the algorithm. So even if you guys just to say hi, just put anything you got, any thoughts, comments down below. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Follow me on my social medias. You guys gonna catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank you guys, man, who's tapping into the channel, supporting it, hitting that like button, man. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping the channel by just doing those 3 simple things. I really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth.
The most dangerous animals in the ocean, killer whales, are the apex predator of the sea. And believe it or not, they are a lot smarter than dolphins. Here's a group of them coordinating an attack on this single seal chilling on ice. They each get in line and all start swimming super fast towards the seal. This causes a huge wave to be created, and we all know what happens next. The Australian box jellyfish might look super tiny, or average for some, but if it stings you, you can say goodbye to everything you've ever known. It will start by shutting down your nervous system, meaning if you're still in the water, you'll start drowning, and then it will attack your lungs, making it seem like you're breathing in hot fire. And finally, you'll pass away if you don't get help soon. Sea snakes are also extremely dangerous. They might look cute and harmless with their bright colors, but apparently the brighter they are, the more venomous they can be. That means that only 3 drops from their venom can kill up to 8 human adults.
Top 5 most dangerous animals in the world. Coming in at number 5, we have the assassin bug, also known as the kissing bug because it's known to bite people on the face.
Ooh.
People who are bitten by an assassin bug often contract Chagas disease, which can be deadly to humans. These bugs kill upwards of 12,000 people every single year and can be found in the southern half of the United States. At number 4, we have freshwater snails. Now I know what you're thinking, how can a snail be one of the most deadly animals on Earth? Freshwater snails can have parasitic worms on them, which can get people sick from a disease called schistomiasis, which causes severe pain in the abdomen area. Anywhere between 20,000 to 200,000 people every single year die of this disease, making freshwater snails the 4th most deadliest animal on the planet. Like and follow for the top 3.
Man, there's really deep. It's like it's like the smaller the animal or insect, it's like the more deadly they are. If you really think about it, man, it's like the most smallest freaking animals, bro, are the deadliest. Goes to show you, bro. Size don't matter, man. Doesn't matter if they big, small, medium size. They can get you, bro. Things about nature, man. Never ceases to amaze me.
You won't believe this crazy discovery about 9/11.
What? No, that's a tragic day in history. No way, they found something buried underneath the building? How the hell did they go that long without being discovered? That's crazy to think about.
expanded right over the top of the ship.
If they discovered that, man, it makes you really think about like how many other buildings and stuff might have like secrets hidden underneath them, man, just buried deep beneath the earth. Gotta start being careful, man. We're building and putting stuff at, man. We're putting stuff where history is at, and we have no idea. Tap in with us. You're gonna learn stuff, Seekers.
This is the final part of the murder of Jana Murray. So the main suspect, Brittany Norwood, was in an interrogation room at the police station with her brother. Her brother Chris said to her, "Did you do it?" And at first she was denying it, but he kept pushing. Eventually she told him that she didn't want to talk about it in the police station. And even though that wasn't a confession, it was enough for police. And on March 18th, 2011, a week after Jana's murder, Brittany Norwood was arrested. Police still didn't have a motive, but they basically suspected that Jana confronted Brittany about stealing, and she got angry and killed Jana. To this day, Brittany has still not confessed or explained the motive. Brittany's defense tried to argue insanity and that Brittany had an undiagnosed mental illness. But after the trial, the jury deliberated for less than an hour and found Brittany Norwood guilty of murder. She was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Brittany actually apologized to Jana's family after she was sentenced before she was taken away, but everybody who heard it said that it sounded so insincere. Jana's murder was absolutely horrific, but thankfully she got the justice that she deserved. The Lululemon in Bethesda, where the murder happened, is still open and now has a beautiful mural in honor of Jana. Jana is incredibly missed by her family and friends, and she was such a beautiful soul. But that's why I wanted to tell this story, because yes, it is the Lululemon murder, the murder that happened at a Lululemon store, but more importantly, it was the murder of Jana Murray. And she deserves her name to be everywhere.
This is what prevailing in. We saw it. Where's the Scott? We can spot out the edits, man. We've been doing this for a minute. We know what's
Here are facts you didn't know that one day could save your life.
Okay.
If you're ever buried in rubble, yelling will only waste your energy. Look for something to grab and tap in intervals of 3, and rescuers will notice this strange pattern. If a tornado looks like it's standing still, this means it's actually moving towards you. If your drink randomly smells like cinnamon, don't drink it. People often use it to cover up the scent of actual poison. If your house ever smells like fish for no reason, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's an electrical fire. If you ever wake up to the smell of gas, don't turn on a light. A spark from the light switch could blow up your entire house. Lying flat on your back is the best way to survive a falling elevator. If your hair suddenly stands up, duck and cover because you're about to be struck by lightning. If you ever fall off the edge onto the tracks, don't try and crawl back up. There's a crawl space built to go underneath in case this happens. If you ever get kidnapped into the back of a vehicle, disconnect the brake light wire so the cops will pull them over, then kick on the door to let them know that you're there.
Interesting facts, man. I didn't know this. That they said this laying straight back in the elevator when it was going down. That's the best chance for some. You would have never thought that in a million years. You would have thought like going to the side or something, man. Try to escape the impact, but just laying straight down. I have to check that one out, man. I guess it's the physics behind it. And about the hair standing up. I've seen a couple of pictures like that before. So does that mean lightning was about to strike just before they took that picture? They lucky.
I can't believe this is real. A billionaire from Ohio named Larry Connor is planning a Titanic submarine dive.
What
because
the
I guess we still haven't learned our lesson from last time. The trip is going to cost $20 million, and the sub will dive more than 2 miles underwater to the Titanic shipwreck. Now his reason for doing this is to prove that last year's Ocean Gate implosion was a fluke, and that expeditions and personal subs are now much safer and, quote, life-changing. And if you thought this was bad enough, this was planned just days after the Ocean Gate sub implosion, when Larry reached out to the CEO of Titanic Submarines to make a better sub that could make multiple trips to the Titanic. So the two of them will soon board the newly designed Triton Abyssal Explorer, which they claim is capable of diving 4,000 meters deep, or 200 more than where the Ocean Gate disaster happened. And don't worry, this time it'll be operated by a PS5 controller. So if you thought 2024 couldn't get any crazier, we now have a Titanic trilogy before GTA 6. And we might have an addition to this graph.
This Nigerian cook survived 3 days in a 100 feet
Crazy.
deep shipwreck. One night, Harrison was in the toilet and heard voices from his crewmate yelling, "Is the boat sinking?" A few seconds later, water started getting in from under his feet, and he felt the boat flipping upside down. As the boat was sinking, he was able to find an air pocket, which allowed him to breathe for the next 3 days. The cook was able to survive on 1 bottle of Coke in complete darkness. And to make things worse, he could feel sharks rubbing against his legs while he was in the water. When all hope was lost, he heard banging on the outside of the boat and started seeing lights from divers getting closer to him. But then it started going away, so he decided to follow it. Apparently, the divers were looking for missing corpses. As the diver was swimming, he saw a hand and thought it was a corpse. But that hand started squeezing him, so he knew it was alive. So the diver called for backup and was able to save him.
These are the most amazing animals in the world. Part 1. The ogre-faced spider can be found in the forests of Australia and Africa, and it's known for having the largest eyes on any species of spider. Their eyes can also absorb 15,000 times more photons than humans. They're able to hear their surroundings from the tiny hairs on their legs, and use it to create one big and one smaller web between their legs, and attract their prey with their waist and snag it. Next, the Watusi is a species of cattle that originated back in ancient Egypt. The biggest characteristic that helps them stand out is their massive horns. These horns can grow up to 8 feet in length, and some of them may never stop growing. The Watusi with the largest recorded horns was in 2004, with horns measuring 40 inches in width. And these horns don't just look awesome, but they function as air conditioners for the animal, because they can control their body temperature and send it out the horns. And finally, the flatfish. Their flat bodies allow them to blend into the ocean floor to easily hide themselves from predators, as well as help them catch their own prey. They're also extremely fast swimmers thanks to their underfin, which gives them an extra boost. These fish also start like any regular fish, with both their eyes on each side of their face. But within a few weeks, one of its eyes slowly migrates its way onto the other side of the face, which makes them look like this.
Crazy, man. Especially about the spiders, man. Guys, we don't do bugs.
You wish you never knew. On September 26th of 2021, a huge asteroid actually almost hit Earth, and NASA didn't detect it until a day later. So yeah, we were almost done for. Believe it or not, but humans do have a natural predator, and it kills around 2 to 3 million people a year. And we still have no clue how to stop it yet. This creature is the mosquito. Did you know TikTok has a secret emoji? Type shout with the bars around it on your keyboard and see what you unlock. Dr. Carl Tanzler was in love with one of his patients. Her name was Elena, but sadly she passed away. Carl then snuck into her tomb, stole her body, brought her back to his house, and kept her in there for 7 years. For that whole time, her body was slowly rotting away. He would prop her up on the bed like a mannequin. And the only reason he was caught was because somebody saw him dancing with her in front of his open window. You can check if your phone is being monitored right now. Just click on share, slide to the very end, click more, and if any unknown apps appear before your contacts, you should delete them immediately. 3 a.m. is known as the devil's hour. It is said that during that hour, the veil between our world and the paranormal world is thin. No wonder you always wake up at 3 a.m. Studies show that people who like and follow me get smarter every day, so you know what to do.
These pictures I'm about to show you are very disturbing once you know the story behind them. These are pictures taken of the Children of God, now known as the Family. They were a radical Christian cult that hit their peak around the early to mid-70s. Around that time, they had about 10,000 members in dozens of countries around the world. It started with this man, David Berg. He looks creepy, right? It's because he was. He was a predator. Justified pedophilia, incest, rape, abuse of all kinds. All the members had to have sex with each other even if they did not want to. Even the children. He always told his followers that the world was going to end and that they were God's soldiers that were going to fight the Antichrist. Members had to drop out of society. They were only allowed to make money by begging on the street and selling like pamphlets that they were given. David Berg also promoted this thing called flirty fishing, where members, mostly women, would go out to bars and pick up men and have sex with them. They would try to convince them to join the cult, and if not, they would ask for money. It was literally sex trafficking his followers. One of the most disturbing things I've seen about this cult is the story of Dabadito, the book where they explain how every cult member should raise their child. They advocate for child abuse of all kinds and incest. It would also get his followers to send videos of women and children dancing naked and singing religious songs. If you want to hear more, I just released an hour-long episode on this cult, and I also talk about Ricky Rodriguez. He was born into this cult, and when he grew up, he realized he had been abused and that this cult was evil. He then killed one of the leaders of this cult and took his own life.
It's crazy, man. I'm saying these things you be learning about these cults, bro. When people get deep into it, it's just like all sense of morality, all sense of free will just gone. They'll do anything that leader says. It's scary, man, to think about how like that one person can gain that much control over that many people. They said it was like over 10,000. That's a lot of damn people. Should we check out that deep dive, man? Like I said, going down that cult rabbit hole, that's something we might have to do one day. Crazy.
So this photo is the reason you shouldn't put your feet up on the dashboard of a car.
What?
In 2007, Grany Key had an airbag deploy on her at 120 miles an hour. She was sitting passenger with her feet up on the dash, and when the airbag went off, her knees went right into her skull. Obviously, this led to a brain injury. Her 2 front teeth also fell out, but she lived, thankfully. She lived without a forehead for about 2 years until surgeons fitted a ceramic forehead into her skull. She had near constant headaches, and she developed gallstones because of the medication she was on. After they fitted a ceramic plate into her forehead, they injected fat from her stomach into it so it could look more natural. This is her today, so she looks very normal now. And of course, because she's in good spirit, she says her ceramic forehead is designer because it was made in Italy. She also spent a considerable amount of time educating people on why they shouldn't put their feet up on the dashboard. Because if you do, you could end up like this. And you might not be so lucky. So, if you get anything from this video, stop putting your feet up on the dash. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational and entertainment purposes only.
This Nigerian cook survived 3 days in 100 feet deep shipwreck. One night, Harrison was in the toilet and heard voices from his crewmates yelling, "Is the boat sinking?" A few seconds later, water started getting in from under his feet, and he felt the boat flipping upside down. As the boat was sinking, he was able to find an air pocket, which allowed him to breathe for the next 3 days. The cook was able to survive on 1 bottle of Coke in complete darkness. And to make things worse, he could feel sharks rubbing against his legs while he was in the water. When all hope was lost, he heard banging on the outside of the boat and started seeing lights from divers getting closer to him. But then it started going away, so he decided to follow it. Apparently, the divers were looking for missing corpses. As the diver was swimming, he saw a hand and thought it was a corpse. But that hand started to squeeze again, so he knew it was alive. So the diver called for backup and was able to save him.
Scientists?
That's crazy. We saw that story, but that's crazy that the hair, I didn't give more details. I didn't know he survived off a bottle of Coke for like 3 days. And there's like sharks were rubbing up against his egg. Like, imagine just being in that situation. The mindset, you just trying to survive. You're in survival mode. And he saw the vegan diver, took his chance, man. Goes to show you sometimes, man, when you just see an opportunity, you gotta take it, because you never know what could happen. Ooh.
Scientists are planning to bring back these prehistoric animals. What do you guys think?
No.
I bet you didn't know that this animal can talk. Seals are found all over the world and are known to be cute, cuddly-looking creatures. However, it's recently been confirmed that seals are able to imitate human speech, much like certain kinds of birds. And in the 1970s, a man from the state of Maine in the United States took care of a baby seal that he found abandoned on the shore. The old man who found him named him Hoover, and he took care of him as his own pet for a while before he had to eventually give him up to a New England aquarium. However, what Hoover's owner didn't know is that while he was taking care of the seal, Hoover was listening to the man's speech patterns and was eventually able to replicate it. While living in the aquarium, Hoover began to imitate and mimic the sounds and speech patterns of his old owner. And he even spoke in a Boston accent just like his caretaker. Just listen for yourself.
Whoa. Goes to show you, man, animals are smart creatures, man. He picked up on his voice patterns and the accent too.
Curious facts about Islam, let's go! In Islam, you have a jinn watching you 24/7 and he's looking at you right now. Say hi. In Islam, when you go to sleep, your soul leaves your body and you're pretty much dead until it comes back in the morning. In Islam, jinns sit on your chest while you sleep and they can cause sleep paralysis. In Islam, when a bad person dies, they can see the angel of death in the form of a terrifying monster and he rips their soul from their body while they die screaming like a little baby. And in Islam, on the Day of Judgment, God will show everyone's private sins on a big screen and your family and friends will see what you did in private.
Psychology hacks you need to know. If you want to make someone uncomfortable, look at their forehead while you're talking to them. If you want somebody to open up to you more, ask them a question, and if they only partially answer it, keep eye contact and stay silent. It will pressure them to talk more. If you want to be more persuasive, try and lose the words I think and I believe. When someone is touched on their shoulder or their knees, it creates a stronger emotional and physical bond with the person touching them.
Chewing gum can't help you when you're nervous because your brain thinks, well, I'm eating, I must not be in danger. If you walk up to a group of people and they turn their feet towards you, you are welcome. If they have their feet turned away from you, even if their body and head is turned towards you, they are uncomfortable with you walking up. Subtly nodding when someone is talking to you indicates to that person that you are genuinely interested in what they have to say and they're gonna like you more. Follow for more.
Okay. Interesting facts.
Psychology tricks that I know work because I use them, part 5.
Here we go.
False attribution of arousal is a real thing. If you're going on a first date with somebody, go somewhere exciting that's going to get their heart pumping. It's going to make them think that they like you more, like a roller coaster or a horror movie. Don't do anything boring. I use this next trick when I worked in sales because it works. People tend to trust you a little bit more if you mirror their body language. It's weird that we work this way, but don't go overboard with it. Just kind of subtly do the same hand gestures they're doing. You're gonna get a sale, they're gonna like you a little bit more.
Okay.
If you just met somebody and you want them to like you, you want them to be your friend, but you're not sure how to go about that, just use their name in conversation. Again, don't go overboard with this, but it does build a sense of trust and friendship right off the bat. It's a lot more personal to say, bye Mark, instead of just bye.
She said that does make sense. Saying the name, I guess, building up the bond, friendship. If you're trying to, I guess, become closer to a person, use the actual name instead of the same bye. It sounds kind of cool. If you, I guess, throw their name in there, it gives a sense of familiarity. All right, bro. These facts we're learning. Tap in with us, man. I learn new stuff every day watching the videos with you guys, man. I'm a fellow seeker as well.
Unfortunately, on Saturday, April 20th of this year in Newport, Michigan, a child's birthday that's supposed to be filled with joy was then filled with sadness and grief. 66-year-old Marcella Chidester drove her car into Swan Boat Club where a birthday party was being hosted. There, she unalived 2 children and injured 13 other individuals.
Damn.
Later in court, she testified stating that she had a seizure while she was driving and that caused her to have the accident. But police testified stating that she was tested for alcohol and she was highly intoxicated at the time of the crash. Her lawyer then claimed she did have 1 glass of wine before getting behind the wheel, but police said based on her BAC, blood alcohol concentration, it's impossible she only had 1 drink. As of April 23rd, she's being held on a $1.5 million bond and is being charged with murder. Being that this case is so recent, her exact jail sentence has not yet been determined. The 2 victims are 8-year-old Lana Phillips and her younger brother, 4-year-old Zane Phillips.
Damn.
I've put a link to a GoFundMe in the comment section for this family, and in the meantime, how long do you think Marcella should receive in jail?
It's crazy. That's exactly why you don't drink getting behind the wheel, because you never know what could happen.
For years, we searched for her remains, tracking down every lead. This search continues. Every year, we honor Jennifer on her birthday, September 27th, 1968. On that day in September, her children, her sister, her friends, and I crossed the street from my apartment and we walked to Central Park, carrying purple balloons, Jennifer's favorite color. We sit on benches and using markers, we write messages to her. Then we let the balloons go and watch as the wind lets them float to the sky. We watch them until the balloons disappear. Jennifer filled her children with love, wisdom, and humor. Jennifer would have been very proud of her children's accomplishments. They will always have their memories of her, as do I.
If you want to... Crazy. Sad story. This is an edit, bro. We can clearly see. What's the point of these anime edits? This is an anime edit too. Yeah. You know, however we can call them out, man. If you guys see any edits, man, throughout the video, just call them out in the comments down below, man. I might miss some. You guys can probably pick up on it, too. You guys been watching for a minute, man, so you guys are experts as well. What anime is this that they're showing? It's like a loop or something? Unpredictable. Yep, this is damn it. This is it. This gives at least give us a heads up, man, if we know when the edit's coming. Some edits can be useful though, if they have like, you know, useful information or a story behind it. Just gotta know what type of edit it is.
Without having to resort to any tricks.
Man. YouTube, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today. If you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, tell me down below, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video. Also, man, like I said, I'm open to any and all criticism, so anything to make the channel better. Like I said, I saw a couple of you guys' criticism, and I take it to heart, and I will try to implement those changes. Guys, we do daily uploads, so guys, hit that like button, man. We'll continue to grow on. We're gonna keep grinding. We're gonna keep posting our videos, man. We're gonna grow our community together. I'm out. Peace, seekers.